Well, obviously we're excited. It's been a long preseason, and I think our kids are certainly looking forward to playing someone else. And obviously this one's going to go in the books. An opportunity to go down to Xavier, certainly a program that's been extremely successful here. Chris has done a terrific job. They lose some guys, lose Stanbrook, who was, I mean, he's a terrific player. You're talking about a guy that, if you went to the gym, you looked at him, he may not get picked up, and then he'd just destroy you. And so, but really fun to watch and everything else. But, they've got guys coming back, and obviously Reynolds really played well down the stretch last year for them and brings terrific size and athleticism along with Abel and those guys. So they've got guys that know what it takes to win and have been there before, Sweet 16 appearances and so forth. So we're going to have to play extremely well. I thought in our last exhibition game we did some things that were pretty good, and we also did some things that we have to get a lot better at. But I like where we are right now at this point. We need to have a really good week here of practice and getting prepared to face a perennial NCAA team, a team that here in the past years has really been successful, and a team that has accomplished the things that we would like to be able to accomplish in our program. That's all right.
Um, your team, compared to previous teams, what do you like about them? I mean, I know you have numbers
Mm-hmm.
compared to
That's
previous
that's a
years.
start. Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
So,
Right.
any other aspects of your team that you are particularly
Well,
appreciative of?
Well, let's just start there. The numbers, I think, if you take a look in the past, we really hadn't had numbers before. We're still dealing with a few injuries, but we have some seniors, obviously. We have some depth in some spots, but we're like every team. You don't want more injuries because no one has that amount of depth. But I think I would tell you thus far, I think this is a group that certainly gets along with each other. So I like that. I think the question becomes is, do they hold each other accountable from the standpoint when they're on the court and executing and doing the little things to win, defending, boxing out, rebounding, doing the things that, quite frankly, don't get a lot of the fans' attention, but are the things that are necessary to be successful. But I think this game will sort of serve as a barometer here in the preseason as to where we are. I think there's still some questions that we have. We're not totally sure where we are, as well as I'm sure Xavier's not sure exactly where they are. That's part of it when you play the first game, and from a coaching standpoint, you're always concerned that there's some things that you haven't worked on enough. There's some things that you don't have in or what have you, and that you may need to have in for a game, but that's why they play the games. But, I'd like to see us come out and be a very composed team, a team that, has our eye on the prize per se, in that our attention to detail is terrific. And we understand that, when you go on the road, obviously you're playing in an environment that is not conducive for you to win, but you have to hang in there. You have to be able to weather the runs and still maintain your composure. And so I would hope that is a characteristic that this team will have this year, based on the amount of seniors that we have returning. Well, I mean, we still have to be able to guard the bounce better. We've got to make sure that we're doing a good job of rebounding the ball both on the offensive and defensive end, and then also being, I should say, mentally tough enough to not give in and still be able to get the exact shot that you want. And certainly, it's something new for our kids because we're playing with a different shot clock this year, and so there's an adjustment, and so the game is a little bit sped up from the sake of getting used to it and having that clock in your head. And so, but, obviously they didn't score a lot of points in the second half. They missed some shots that, typically they probably don't miss. I thought we did a few good things on the defensive end, but, we really still have to get better. And I want our group to be focused. I think that's the key. If we can just stay focused and don't let the chatter and the things that can get in the way. Can we come back from a tough loss and is the locker room in the right place? When you have that, I think those are the keys for this group. I mean, this is a team, and as I've told them, obviously there's not a whole lot of belief in you. We're picked preseason fifth, so you're going to have to prove it. And the way you prove it is you do it on the court. You don't do it with your mouth. You do it by actions.
You mentioned the injuries. How much progress has there been from Wednesday to today with those 4 guys?
Well, today will be the day. I'll have a better feel of it actually on Monday. Just we've gotten from this point to now, and obviously we're starting the week, so we'll see who's going to be able to get in and who's not. I think Logan McClain is coming along, but he hasn't been in a just full bang up practice. The same can be said for Ollie Barnes. It's sort of those situations where you're sort of the trainer's picking the things to put them in. So we'll see how those 2 guys hold up, and then Zach McCormick I'll find out today, and Zach may be a little bit behind those guys, but we'll certainly see.
In terms of familiarity with Xavier, Giovanni McKnight is the only person on the team who's faced them. What is the outlook for this team, having not faced this opponent before, but also being a local rival?
Well, I guess, we played them my first year, and so there's no one on the roster now. Obviously, guys like Willie Moore and those are guys that, they've played against guys in the summer. They know them, and everything else. So I think from that standpoint, there's familiarity from that standpoint, and obviously they're on TV quite a bit, so you see them. But I think our guys understand that this is Xavier's a school that's down the road. Probably take us about 50 minutes to get there, so I think that's going to bring excitement. It's going to be a terrific environment. They always have that. I would hope, at least when I flash back to the dark ages when I played, that this is a time when you're excited and knowing you're going to an opponent that's going to have some butts in the seats. There's going to be a lot of people there, and an opportunity to go against a program that's been extremely successful. And quite frankly, when you look at their program, they haven't necessarily done it with top 10 players. They've done it with good basketball players and good coaching, which, makes it even more impressive to me. And I think Xavier knows who they are as a school, and they understand the importance of their men's basketball program. So I think, as a player, I think those are things that, you're excited to be able to go into the environment and excited to have an opportunity to play and excited to have an opportunity to win. I always say the best wins are the ones when you go on the opponent's court and you're able to get a victory and walk off and the fans aren't screaming and yelling, but it's kind of quiet in the arena. But, there's a lot to do before we get to that point. There's a lot that's going to have to go into it, and we're going to have to be really locked in as a group, and attention to detail, and like I said, focused and ready to put it on the line for Friday. But it should be fun, and I think our guys will really enjoy the challenge and the environment. So, and as a coach, you enjoy it too.